Hi, my name's Melissa, but my friends just call me Lisa, and this is my boyfriend Nick. He's handsome, huh? And this is his girlfriend, Miranda. No, you got me right. My boyfriend has a girlfriend who's not me. Or rather, I'm not his only girlfriend. Anyway, in fact, this story is very complicated. I would never have thought I would get into a situation like this. You want to know how it happened? And why I'm dating both a guy and his girlfriend at the same time? Then make sure you watch this video to the end. By the way, there are even more incredible stories waiting for you on the Life Stories channel. Just click the subscribe button and the bell not to miss new videos. Stay tuned. Okay, let's keep going. When I was 15, my friends decided I was old enough to go to a nightclub for the first time. It wasn't quite legal, but I looked much older than my age, and all my friends were older than me. The evening before, they did my makeup, hairstyle, and picked out a suitable look. When I looked in the mirror at myself, I saw a 20-year-old girl, not younger. I would have been allowed into the club easily this way, but one of my friends even managed to get a fake ID so that there would definitely be no problems. Before going to the club, I often heard from the girls this was a cool place where you could meet some cute guys. My friends already had their boyfriends, and I had never met anyone yet because my peers seemed so stupid and uninteresting to me. I liked the atmosphere of the club from the very start. So, after drinking some sweet cocktail, I immediately went to the dance floor. Oh yeah, it was my birthday party. So I was planning to have fun there and party hard. I noticed Nick just right away. He was sitting there in a group of guys at a table next to the bar, lazily drinking a cocktail and watching the dance floor. When our eyes met, I couldn't help but smile. He smiled back and joined me on the dance floor a few minutes later. When we were both tired of dancing, Nick offered to treat me to a cocktail, and at the same time, get to know each other better. I didn't mind. It turned out, just recently, he turned 17. He was in the last year of high school, and he came here with his friends. We had many common interests, so we got along well and exchanged phone numbers. We agreed we would meet the next day to take a walk or grab some coffee. My friends were so happy for me. They gave me some advice and helped me get ready for my first date. Of course, Nick didn't say it was a date, but it looked like it. I was sure Nick would be my first boyfriend, and I was looking forward to him asking me out one more time at the end of our meeting. Our date was just wonderful. We drank coffee, took a walk in the park, fed ducks in the pond, took a ride on the kids' carousel, and held hands. It was like in a romantic movie, and I couldn't believe the cute guy from the club, whom I liked, turned out to be so kind, funny, and smart. To my surprise, when Nick walked me home in the evening, he didn't ask me to be his girlfriend. He just said he wouldn't mind meeting again. I was very upset. My friends reassured me and said Nick probably planned to do it in a more romantic way. But every meeting with Nick ended up the same way. He didn't even try to kiss me, he just held my hand sometimes. From the outside, we probably looked more like friends. After a month of such meetings, I plucked up the courage and decided to take the bull by the horns. We were sitting in a cafe, which has become our favorite place, discussing a new series that had recently been released on Netflix. The only question running through my head was, why Nick still hasn't asked me to be his girlfriend? And I asked him straight. The poor guy almost choked on his coffee. I told Nick that we'd been dating for a month already, but I didn't understand what he wanted from me. If he didn't like me, he wouldn't insist on the meetings. He wouldn't invite me to the movies, and he definitely wouldn't text me every spare minute. I assumed he treated me as a friend, but then it's better to find out everything right away so that I didn't hope for anything and would accept an offer to go on a date with someone else. Nick didn't like this idea right away and said he wouldn't want me to date anyone else. He admitted he liked me not just as a friend. Yes, he would like me to become his girlfriend, but there were some circumstances because of which he couldn't ask me yet. Of course, I wondered what these circumstances were, but Nick took my hand, smiled, and said when the time came, he would definitely tell me about everything. And then nothing would prevent us from being together. That night, Nick kissed me for the first time. When I told my friends about this, Nick's behavior seemed very strange to them. They didn't understand what circumstances prevented him from becoming my boyfriend. The only reason that I could think of was that Nick was on his last year of high school before college. What if the college he wanted to go to required some high scores and he had to pass all the exams brilliantly? This version seemed quite reasonable to me, so I decided I wouldn't pressure him until graduation. Instead, I would support him and wouldn't insist on our meetings. I planned to be the perfect girlfriend for him. The first alarm bell rang when one of my friends said she saw Nick at an amusement park with some girl. This girl was standing next to him and almost hanging on his arm. I assumed he was out with his other friend, and this girl just knew him well, so they had a very close relationship. When I asked Nick how he spent his day off, he suddenly replied he had been sitting at textbooks all day. What? But why would he ever lie if he was just out with his friends? Maybe his plans have changed and he went to the park instead of studying. He probably thought it would somehow offend me, so he didn't say anything to me. One day, my friends and I got together to see a movie premiere at the cinema. We remembered late we needed to buy tickets, so all the seats were sold out in the largest cinema of our city, located downtown. I had to choose one that was on the outskirts, and we went there. The last thing I expected was to see someone I knew there. Moreover, a friend who said he had left for the whole weekend with his parents to visit his grandparents. As you probably guessed, I saw Nick there. He was with a girl I didn't know, but my friend recognized her. It was a girl from the amusement park. Nick looked displeased. On the contrary, she was laughing loudly and pulling his arm all the time. There was no doubt they were here together and, most likely, as a couple. I felt terribly offended Nick had been deceiving me all this time. Apparently, the circumstances why I couldn't become his girlfriend was that he was already in a relationship. But then, why did he give me some hope? I didn't approach Nick. I didn't want to put myself, him, and this girl in an awkward position. I decided I would find out everything at our next meeting. I took a couple of photos so that Nick couldn't say I was lying to him. I didn't want to watch a movie with my friends anymore, and I left. Another girl in my place would have probably immediately crossed out this man from life and stopped any communication. But I wanted to understand why Nick had been deceiving me all this time, saying once his circumstances were resolved, we would be together. We met a couple of days later. Nick saw my face and immediately realized something was wrong. So he asked me what had happened. I honestly answered, I saw him with another girl over the weekend. Nick was confused at first. Then he became very serious and said Miranda, the girl's name, was the main mistake of his life. And then he explained. When they started dating, Nick had no idea Miranda was the one and only daughter of the principal at the school where they both studied. After a month of dating, Nick realized Miranda was not his girl at all. For instance, she was too obsessive and jealous. She forbade him to communicate with any friends. She constantly checked his phone. And she was constantly with him at school. When Nick said he wanted to break up with her, Miranda threatened she would complain to her mom about it, and then he would be kicked out of school without even having the chance for the final exams. After that, all the prestigious colleges and universities would be closed to him, and he would have to go to work. His career of a doctor, which he had long been dreaming of, would end before even starting. Of course, it was an outright blackmail, and the girl was so obsessed with Nick, he had no choice but to continue their relationship, at least until he finished school. Therefore, now Nick was in a forced relationship, and he dreamed of ending it as soon as prom would be over and he would get a certificate. He had no feelings for Miranda for a long time. But he liked me at first sight. Nick was very afraid if he didn't get to know me and didn't make friends, then someone else could easily take me away. He wanted to start a relationship with me when he went to college and broke off all ties with Miranda. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that. But, I believed Nick, because in that cinema, he looked really unhappy with Miranda. I said I wouldn't mind waiting for Nick to break up with Miranda. In response, he invited me to take a walk with them. Nick said he would introduce me as his younger sister, like a cousin who came from another city and shouldn't be left alone. Miranda would be less annoying company with me, and it would be easier for Nick to postpone meetings with her because I would be in the city, and I would need some care and attention. And I agreed to this adventure. So, for a month now, the three of us have been dating. Me, Nick, and his girlfriend, Miranda. Of course, at first, she was unhappy there was an extra person on their dates, but Nick was able to persuade her and she got used to it. From the outside, we look like a very strange group, because sometimes Nick takes both of us by the hands, me so that I didn't get lost, and Miranda because she demands it. My friends joked I dreamed of finding a boyfriend, but I also got a girlfriend as a bonus. But that's not funny to me at all. I can't wait for the day when it's finally over because I really like Nick. Do you think it's stupid of me to go with Nick to his meetings with Miranda? Maybe I should have ended any relationship with him? Do I have to wait until they take a break, or should I find myself another guy? Write your answers in the comments below. I want to hear your opinion. If you liked my story, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Bye, everyone!